For 40 years she had endured, for this had been her constant state, subjugation her present fate, a life without her dignity, without expression of her own unique identity, independence of foreign state, voice stolen, half living, transparent, flickering in the shadows, a life without a cause, with a history steeped in years of indoctrinating tradition, conditioned to merely obey the role of a woman of duty, at home, to stay. There is no end to a husband's torment, her lord and master shrieking from his majestic throne, and it is from his threadbare and decrepit armchair, one imbued, it seems, with mystic properties, symbolic, emanating dread and fear, for there the alpha dog sits, basking, preening, with his arrogance on show. And so her treatment continues, oblivious of what's right, an unequivocal dismissal made worse by an unfailing maniacal suspicion, an underlying contempt of someone that is not equal, a culture past that expected submission, a constant demand to justify her inferior position, ignoring the world outside, one that has moved on, grasping to a past, a made-up fantasy conjured, a fictitious memory, unaware. She shakes her head in sorrow and grief, and heavily she sobs, she shudders, hands taunt in supplication, reaching upwards, following a path repeated 100 times before, pleading to the heavens for answers. Why has this been my fate? And then a thought, unbidden, enters and does not leave. No, no more. For now her daughter is fully grown, safely forging her own path, free to explore, able to make mistakes and missteps her own, leaving our forlorn protagonist so full of pride, but also so achingly alone, alone to face her nightmares, one that lasts from dawn to dusk. Every waking hour brings acknowledgement, oppression, a way of life, repeating endlessly, unrelenting, no escape, no more. Emboldened by her meek displays, again he asserts, again a refusal of any permission to simply allow her to wander outdoors alone. A woman's place is at home. But inside coalesces the thought, getting stronger and more certain, no more. A chasm to cross in darkness, one she has to take alone, summoning up reserves of strength that she did not ever know, to renounce her life with her tormentor, to leave her family home and all her worldly possessions and their memories of a lifetime ago to a cold and foreign Australian court for a simple piece of paper, a stamped piece of officialdom, to file for her divorce. Yes, no more. So hurriedly, with bags packed and nowhere else to go, to her daughters did she flee, her life now perched in limbo, dependent on a son-in-law, indifferent to her cause, an impatience plain to see mark his face with troubled countenance, for her untimely imposition that upsets the tranquility of her new sanctuary, his home. "How long will your mother be here?" he whispers. "I understand, but I never did agree. I know she is your mother. This long? Really? I have reasonable limits on my charity." But even away from home she felt constrained, for her journey was not yet complete, for in the eyes of her religion she was not yet free. Her angry ex-husband could justify, that he could lay claim on her, that it was his right, that sanctioned abuse could continue, for in his eyes he still owned her, to do so as he desired. But no more. The next step was the hardest, a painstaking and disagreeable process that incredulously caused more terror by putting her in a room again with a tyrant, treated as a third party, an object for those far brighter who knew better, to seal her destiny, and those she nearly did break, give up, acquiesce, subdued. Somehow, her quiet voice remained firm, did carry, and her case was finally made. Though it took 12 months for the imams to grudgingly agree, what was painfully obvious for all to see, that there was no room for reconciliation. Love and duty no more than a fallacy, that the intervention order was real, that finally in God's eyes, she was free. Surviving now on an old age pension, scrimping and scraping at the edges of modern society, she cannot afford modest housing, a future uncertain has she. But it is a life that is now oh so different. At TAFE she helps in English language classes to help others who face the same perilous journey, to help provide safe passage, to be their shining beacon against a darkening landscape. that threatens to stop the faint-hearted from withdrawing from their future, to succumbing to their perilous fate. This wonderful woman of the ages has found an inner peace, though fate has made her journey long and arduous, that finally she feels so unfettered, that finally she feels free. Oh, our heroine, our inspiration, oh gaze upon her now, our beautiful, independent woman, for a voice has finally been found. As laughter lines now crease her aged face, as she shares delightful, playful stories with her friends, to break bread, to live what is left of life to the fullest, to battle for her causes, to stand proud and with dignity, and now with her own identity restored, it is time, perhaps, for her to give a little nudge to what will be her fate.